today's video, we're going to be using volume formulas in order to find the height, given the information we are presented with. So what's important in this lesson is knowing, first of all, the volume formulas, and then also correctly substituting in the values in order to use algebra in figuring out your answers. So let's get started. We have the volume of a cylinder is 200 pi. Given that the radius is 5 feet, find the length of the height. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to start with my volume formula of a cylinder, which is pi r squared h. Okay, so I start off with that. Then I plug in appropriately. We have 200 pi. That's going to go in for my volume. The radius is 5, and I have to solve for the height. So I have 200 pi equals pi times 5 squared times the height. Now, I know in my head what 5 squared is. 5 squared, in order to simplify this on this side, is just 25. So I have 200 pi equals 5 squared. So that's 25. I'm going to put that in front. Pi h. Okay, I'm going to always put out the number out in front. So this is going to go here. I'll put the pi over here. All right, in order to get h by itself, look at all this operation, 25 times pi times h. So in order, the opposite operation of multiplying is dividing. So I just divide both sides by 25 pi. Now look at this, okay? Well, these will cancel, right? The pi's will cancel over here, and then all I have to do to figure out the height is do 200 divided by 25. So use my calculator. If you do it in your head, even better. It is 8. So my height in this case is 8 feet. All right, so it's just knowing how to plug into the formula. Let's look at another one. Ooh, cone. All right. Now this one, the volume of a cone is 1080 pi. Given that the diameter is 36, find the length of the height. So again, the volume of a cone, I'm going to write it out, is 1/3 pi r squared h. Very similar to the last one, just the only difference is the 1/3. Now this one, you got to be careful. The diameter is 36. That means the radius is half the diameter, so it's half of 36, which is 18. Now that is what I'm going to plug in to my formula. And I'm going to plug the 1080 pi into the volume portion. Okay, so I'm going to have 1080 pi equals 1/3, okay, pi times 18 squared times the height. All right. Now, a couple things you could do here. Okay, you could figure out 10 squared times 18, right? That's one way to do it first. Another way you could do this, I'm going to show both ways, okay? In order to get rid of the 1/3, what you could do is multiply both sides by 3 to get rid of 1/3, all right? So that's what I would recommend doing, because sometimes you don't get a nice number that's divisible by 3 when you square it in here, all right? So to get rid of the 1/3, I'm going to first multiply and change colors here. Multiply both sides by 3. All right. So that might get a little messy, but we'll write it over here. So 1080 times 3. 1080 times 3 is 3240. So this is 3240 pi. Pi doesn't go anywhere, right? So now we're able to cancel these out on this side, right? And then I'm just left with what I had before. Remember, we just had to figure out what 18 squared is. So 18 squared, right? 18 squared, 18 times 18 is 324. Ooh, okay. 324. I'll do this in red. So this is 324. Okay, the pi doesn't go anywhere. Pi h. Okay. So just like how I had before. Now I divide both sides by 324 pi. 324 pi. And the reason I know this all the top of my head, the only difference is the 0 here. So all I have to do is take this number, and the height is going to be 10 meters. It's an ugly M. So your height is 10 meters, right? 3,240 divided by 324 is 10. The pi's cancel out. Okay. And again, you could have figured out 18 squared and then divided by 3, right? And then divided both sides. That's another way you could have done it too. So you could have done 18 squared divided by 3, right? 18 squared, or times 1/3 if you want to be more specific. Times 1/3 is 108, right? So over here, you could have had 108 pi, right? And divided both sides by that as well. Okay. Again, multiple ways to get to the same answer. All right. All right, let's look at one more. Where is it? There it is. Hiding on me. All right, the volume of a cylinder is 112 pi, given that the circumference, okay, we haven't worked with circumference yet. Circumference. So circumference formula is pi times the diameter. So if the circumference is 8 pi in this case, that means the diameter is 8, right? So that means the diameter is 8. That means the radius has to be half of the diameter, which is 4, right? So circumference, again, measures around the outside. It's the perimeter of a circle. That's what it is. So if the circumference is 8 pi, that means that the diameter is 8 and the radius is half of that, which is 4. All right, now volume of a cylinder. All right, we're back to cylinder. So pi r squared h. Okay, 112 is going in for the volume. 4 is going in for the radius, so be careful. So we have 112 pi equals pi times 4 squared h. Okay, 112 pi. Okay, I'm going to write the pi over here. Okay, 4 squared is 16. Divide both sides by 16 pi. And 112 divided by 16 is 7. So these cancel, right? These cancel, all these cancel. 112 divided by 16 is 7. So the height is 7 inches. Okay, make sure you include your units. All right, so using the formulas, again, these can get a little bit more intense than what we've been used to, as opposed to just putting them in the calculator. You have to use a little bit more algebra in solving these, but it's not that bad once you know the steps and get more practice with it. So that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching, and always remember, whether you're solving for X or Y, always give math a try.